Howdy folks, and today we're painting Gor-rok from the Warhammer Fantasy range. So we start off by priming the model grey, and that can be any colour. Mechanical standard grey is fine. We then get an airbrush, or you can use a normal brush if you want, and we use Warlord purple and basically do Warlord purple all over the model. We then get any white. In this particular case, I used Vallejo white, and I added a little bit of Death Guard green, a tiny drop in there to give it a tiny bit of a green tint. And then I did the white all over the model. We're then doing the jade area, so in this instance I wanted to sort of make them glow. So here I started with a Vallejo dark green, followed by a pale green highlight from our airbrush. Now we're doing that on all the jade areas, obviously. Now after we do pale green, we're going to be moving on to a brighter green. In this case it's Escarpena green from the Vallejo range. I'm not sure if I said that right, I do apologise. And then after we've done that, we're going to be moving on to light livery green, which is really like a yellowishy colour, but you know, we really want to make it pop, so we're using that colour. And I think the combination of those four particular colours, I use it all the time and I find it works really well. It works for me anyway, but I do highly recommend it. I think it looks great and it does stand out on the tabletop. You just got to take your time with this, don't rush it. You want to make sure it looks great. So after we've done our green, we're going to be moving on to the golden areas, and in this instance we're using Retributor armor, so it matches with the rest of my Lizardmen force, and I think it's a great gold colour. It usually goes on in one coat. You know, if you can see the undercoat somewhere, don't worry about it. You will be able to you know, to fix it with a second coat. So we're just using the tongue, painting the tongue, and in the tongue we're using Warlord purple. So I missed out on doing the base, but we used Rhinox hide as a base, and we obviously used sand as well, and then followed by a dry brush of Longbeard grey. After we've done that, we're going to be painting claws, and we're using Xandri dust on all the claws, nails, and he's got a tooth hanging from his weapon, and obviously we're doing his teeth as well. For the brown bits, like the little leather belts and whatnot, we're using Gore brown, and on the handle of our Gor-rok we're using lead belcher. After we've let the gold dry, we're going to be using Reikland Flesh Shade. Now I do recommend thinning it down a little bit. I use the Vallejo thinner. That, you know, works really well. I don't know, something like 80 to 20%. After we've done that, we're going to be shading the silver part using Nuln Oil. Once again, I would recommend thinning it down a little bit. It just means if it does pull, it's not so bad, and it's not so noticeable then. So after we've done that, we're using Druchii Violet, and we are actually thinning this down as well, about 50-50, and then putting it in all the recesses, so you're trying to be really careful with that. Now to do the grass and the tufts, we're using some PVA glue, and using any old brush that you don't particularly need or want. Put the PVA on there, dip the model into your grass, and yeah, you've got your grass sorted. So Xandri dust bits, we're using Agrax Earthshade to shade all of the Xandri dust bits, so that's his nails, the little piece of wood under his foot, and yeah, basically any of the areas that we used Xandri dust on. Now we'll let that dry, and after we let it dry, we're going to be using Ushabti Bone to highlight all of our teeth, nails, and the tooth that he has on his weapon. after we've done that, I've done the rim of the base in Abaddon Black. I have thinned this down about 40% thinner and 60% paint. So now we're just going to be highlighting the gold, and in this particular instance we're using Retributor armor again to bring up the gold back up to what it was, so it's a lot brighter, because obviously the Reikland Flesh shade has dulled it down quite a little bit. So we want to make sure, to bring that shine back up. That's what we're doing. After that, we're using Liberator Gold and Auric Armor Gold. So I think I used Auric Armor Gold to start with, and after that I used Liberator Gold, and then any of the edges we're going to be highlighting with Stormhose Silver. Now the little triangles that we see here, we are using Calidor Sky, and on the red triangles we're using Mephiston Red. Yeah, there we go. So that's, I've gone back over to doing the gold, and in this instance we're using Stormhose Silver from the GW range. It seems like there's quite a few different golds that I've used for this. You can just make it a lot easier for yourself, and if you didn't want such a transition like this, I guess you could just do Retributor Armor, Reikland Flesh Shade, followed by Liberator Gold highlights, and I think that would probably do, to be fair. But I really like the idea of Gor-rok. I was reading some of his background, and I really enjoy his background. I've got the Total War games, and I think I might play the campaign as Gor-rok as my main character at some point. So here I'm now using Waywatcher Green, and I'm literally putting that in all the dark areas where you'd have recesses. So we're literally just using a recess wash in this case. If you don't have Waywatcher Green, you could use Aphonian KMO shade. Just make sure to thin it down 50-50 with a thinner of some sort. Now here I'm using I think it's called Paraxi White from the GW range, so it's a dry paint, and I'm just dry brushing it on his scars, so his scars stand out a little bit more. And for the highlights of the red and the blue, we're basically using Vermilion from the Vallejo range and Electric Blue from the Vallejo range as well. And that about finishes the model for us here. So I'm really happy with the way it came out. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching the video, and if you did enjoy this simple guide, then please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe. That would be great. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye.